Here, I'm going to start a little early, so I would like to welcome everyone to the December 22nd Village Board meeting. I will at this time call the meeting to order. I would appreciate it, Trustee Byers, with your Christmas shirt, if you would lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So before we do get started with the public portion of the meeting, I just wanted to just respond to Mr. Walter, his comments that he made at the last board meeting, where he referenced the $150,000 that the village board took from the unassigned fund balance to fund the cell tower. I believe Mr. Walter made the comment that it was not really fair to the taxpayers to take the money from reserves. And the notes here state that Mr. Walter believes that the reserves to pay for the project would be unfair to the taxpayers. I believe he alluded to we should, borrow the money. So, and that we did have significant monies in the fund balance. It's my opinion, was obviously the board's opinion, that rather than saddle the taxpayers with additional interest payments, and we would also have to pay the financial advisors on an annual basis and also bond counsel on an annual basis. Approximately those costs would have come to approximately $23,000 at the end of 5 years. And even with the removal of the $150,000, it leaves us with approximately, in our fund balance, approximately compared to the budget, I believe it was almost 43%, which is significant, and it's more in line, actually it's more than what the state comptroller recommends. The state comptroller, and I don't necessarily agree with them, where they state you should have only 5 to 15% in your unassigned fund balance in comparison to your budget. And I don't agree with that, but I think that we were keeping with our fiduciary responsibility by utilizing the fund balance monies to pay for the cell tower, rather than saddling the taxpayers with an additional approximately $24,000 in interest and financial advisement fees. So that's my comments. And at this time, I will open up the public portion of the meeting for anyone who would like to speak. Just ask that you disclose your name.
Richard Holder, 20 Elm Street. First of all, I'd like to wish everybody there in the village a Merry Christmas and hope you have a Happy New Year.
Same to you, Rick.
Same to you, sir.
And my question tonight is a very simple one. Quite a long time ago, we spoke about, it was brought up by the mayor, I believe, but the people wanted to discuss it, the possibility of saving and reducing the sewer costs by putting in a solar array. This is becoming quite popular in many places. Williamson put in a huge one on their old dump site. There are ones going up in the town of Webster, or before the town of Webster now, which will be a privately run one, type one, with individual investors, but I was hoping the village has continued to look into it. I don't know, because we haven't heard anything since the original presentation. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Elder?
thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. First of all, following with Rick, I'd like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas.
Same to you, sir.
I hope you accept that sincerely. And I want to tell you that I have grown to respect this board over the last year, particularly the trustees. I think that you found your voice. And I know that agreement is a hard thing to reach at times, but respect comes with strength, and you have shown your mettle several times in 2016. I also want to take a moment to thank Jake, though he's not here, and the guys in the DPW for the outstanding plowing after the last snowstorm. It was a tough one with the snow falling over several hours late at night with changeable temperatures, and I always thought, and still do, that the DPW is not recognized nearly enough. In our climate, without snow plowing, everything would just come to a halt. And that's a testament to the labor that the village does in clearing our roads, that it does not. Also, I want to thank Josette because for her diligence this year as well. I am I guess like you have frequent flyers, I'm a frequent foiler. And she is a gracious recipient of everything that I write. She's polite, she's timely, and she's confident. And I know it's been tough for you at times in the office and stressful, but I want to tell you, you've always been very good to me, so thank you. My comments tonight are short though, and a follow-up to last meeting. I was able to find out through an email that petitions for dissolution of the village actually have been prepared. I don't believe the email that I got was an authentic name, but I think the information might have been authentic. I don't know if, when, or even if they will be passed, but there's obviously some people concerned about the direction of the village and is considering this extreme way to deal with it. To me, elections are a better way to change direction, and that day lies just months ahead. However, I'm concerned about the village preparedness in case these petitions are successfully submitted to the village clerk. Under the current law, the village is at a huge disadvantage. The petitions will trigger a vote, and the vote might sustain the purpose of the petitions. If so, then the village must dissolve, and to do so must come up with a study that is really, honestly, just a roadmap for dissolution. However, I wonder what would happen if the village sort of did its own preemptory study internally. At the last meeting, you said it would be a great politician that would do so, but you have some really good staff here. Christina does great work and could set up a chart of comparable costs, for instance, calculating the tax rate for a village resident considering the town rates plus all the district costs. She also has good data on debt issues. Between Josette, Jake, and Christina, it would be possible to understand all the assets the village would lose. It would be a powerful tool to show alternatives to residents. And it's my guess, I think it will, show what a tremendous value our residents are getting by having a village. But that internal study can bear it out. I also want to just note that I didn't put this in my notes here, but actually in about 2003, something like that actually was done, where they looked at some costs and they looked at the services, and it was a very good piece to have available to our residents. So it also has that advantage to it too.
Did that have to do with the removal of the fire department in 2003? Was that what the study was?
It had something to do with the fact they were preparing for it, yes.
And they ultimately did leave, correct?
They
The
did,
fire department.
right, but the idea was to show what costs were available,
Right.
what residents were going to bear, and also what the services they had, because a lot of times, honestly, you've probably seen this, people don't know the services that we have.
I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying. I would advocate, from my perspective, I would advocate to have an independent company come in and do that, so they don't have, they're looking at it from, an independent standpoint rather than, one standpoint.
Well, the only,
So that's
Yeah.
what I would advocate, and there are companies out there that do that,
but don't they charge you like about $25,000 for that
and,
study?
and those studies are funded through the state, will fund those studies. So, I have absolutely no problem doing that.
Okay, well,
So to your point,
I don't
but
want
I don't want to saddle
I don't want to see the
Christina.
village dissolve, but I also don't.
I don't either.
I also don't want to see you guys taken, by surprise if someone starts, because honestly, the way the law is written, you only need 10% of the voters. With
Right.
about 3,100 voters, you can
Right.
get, we could, in this room, we could walk and get that many signatures in about 4 days.
I don't know that you could.
I don't know.
From what you're saying, I don't know that that's true.
I think getting 10% would be unfortunately too easy. And you said at last meeting, you thought it would be very easy too.
No, I said the bar is low
Right,
The
but-
standard is low. I didn't say that they could go out there and get 10%.
Well, I hope you're right.
I said, I don't think that there is that desire in this village from the people I've spoken to overwhelmingly want to dissolve the village.
I hope so.
I don't. But you're saying you have it under good authority,
I think
under an
that-
anonymous email, that exists, correct?
I think they are correct because I saw the image of them,
When you say you saw an image of the signatures,
the petition.
okay? Well,
So,
if it happens, it happens. There's not much we can do about it.
no, there's nothing, I know you can't do it, I know that. I'm just saying that it would be wonderful if we could tell people, listen, this is a wild goose chase because honestly, you're getting a better deal than anything you could ever get by dissolving. So,
Like I
and I
said,
think you might even agree with that from what you just said.
I don't disagree with that. I do agree with it. But again, I think it would be, I think an independent company that would be charged to do that would be the way to go,
Okay,
rather than internally doing it.
okay.
Because that way you could say, hey, listen, we didn't fabricate numbers to go one way or the other way. This is an independent company. They came in, they did the analysis, and they're saying, right, if we're going to dissolve, this is what likely would happen, okay? And they would have to work with the town also as part of that study, because the town would have to be involved to say, okay, this is, if the village dissolves and we take over, we're gonna implement a lighting district, a sewer district,
Sidewalk.
a sidewalk district,
Yeah,
and all these charges are going to cost you X amount of dollars. In addition to the $2 million in debt that this village accumulated from 2011, or 2007 to 2012, we accumulated $2 million in debt, okay?
yeah.
So that debt doesn't get spread around, it stays in the village.
That's correct.
Okay?
Well, it stays in what would have been the former village at that
Right.
point, yes.
Yes, that stays here. So, I honestly, and I'm not gonna speculate, but I really, from a service standpoint, I don't think you can beat the services that the village, DPW, provides to this village. And I've been a staunch supporter of our DPW for 3 years, okay? And they all know it. They do.
Yep.
And so I don't know, but I would advocate, most certainly, having that study done in advance of any petitions being presented to Josette.
Okay.
And I know that, and I told you this at the last board meeting, that I brought that question up at a mayor's dinner once.
Oh, I know, and I agree with you 100%. It's a screwy law.
It is, but nobody else,
It is what it
not
is.
one other mayor, would stand up and say, yes, I will do that. Because the minute that a mayor publicly says that I will advocate having a study done to see the ramifications of a dissolution, then the next thing you know, an adversary of that mayor will say, look, Mayor Cahill's advocating dissolving the village. So I don't know if that's going to show up on the Webster Citizens Action League website tomorrow, right, that I'm advocating to dissolve the village, but nothing I've said here or at the previous meeting, anywhere, anything that I've said advocates that, okay? But I think it's a responsible thing that you're saying to do the study ahead of the time rather than after the fact.
Okay. Well, thank you. That's
Sure.
actually what I was going to say at the end. But I just wanted to mention at the end, though, just before I go, I just want you all to enjoy the holiday season. I hope you will. And I want to wish everybody over on the other side there a Merry Christmas, Don and Josette and Will and Christina. And I hope you all have a wonderful Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
You too.
Thank you. Huh?
Thank you and your family. Yeah,
Oh, thank you.
Anyone else this evening?
I'm at the wrong meeting.
Mr. Adams, you showed up, you must speak.
You're at the wrong.
No, I thought
You didn't get the email either, huh?
no.
I apologize.
No,
The Brittany Woods?
I didn't open my email today,
Oh,
but
okay.
that's okay.
Well, it's nice to see you.
It's always nice to be here.
I never got the email either.
Oh, really?
I only
Okay.
heard it secondhand through Will.
Oh, okay, no big.
But Don had to come anyways.
Don has to be
He
here.
had to show
I figured
up.
I
Don has
will
to
show
be
that.
here.
Right.
But who's to say that if there was a dissolution vote, that would go to Webster and not Penfield?
Nothing. Actually, that is that's a strange, but it's a strange option, but it's true. The law says all it has to do is be contiguous with an
Right.
adjacent municipality.
Is that,
So,
that's, you know,
It's a
my 2
point.
cents.
Actually, maybe you'd rather join Penfield.
Taxes
No-
are higher.
No police department. I'm not
That's
so
true.
sure about it.
actually, Don, maybe you should point it as rejoin Penfield, since that's where we came
That's where
from.
we came from.
Exactly right.
That's true.
Right. Originally
North
Webster
Penfield.
was carved out of Penfield.
Yeah, that's true. That's all I have.
So how did you get a copy of this email, by the way?
I did what I said, we both talked about last meeting. I just kept asking people.
All right.
And what I got is a forwarded email with the image, a JPEG image, but that's it. And it's,
So you're gonna share that, or no?
I could, but it's not much to look at.
Well, I know this board would be interested in seeing it, so if you want to forward that, we'd appreciate it,
All right,
okay?
You got it.
Forward it to Josette, and Josette will forward it to the board members.
okay, sure,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
It's been talking disillusion for years. I mean,
Pardon me?
that when
Apparently-
you were married, or when you were married, when you were mayor,
Pam
there
can
was,
take
we
the
had
whole-
somebody come in and give a whole spiel about dissolving the village, dissolving the police department. And that, how long ago was that?
Probably 2010.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, maybe it was before you.
It might have been when Jack was mayor.
Yeah.
All right.
It was
Well,
when Jack was mayor.
We're gonna close the public portion unless there's someone else that would like to speak this evening. All right. So we'll move right into village board business, and the first thing up is the resolution to approve the minutes. And the first up is the November 29th village board meeting minutes. Any questions, additions, corrections? If not, I will entertain a motion and a second to accept the village board workshop meeting minutes of November 29th as presented by our village clerk.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Trustee Byers,
Aye.
trustee Belkane,
Aye.
Mayor Cahill,
Aye.
motion passes.
Next, we have the minutes for the December 5th meeting. Any questions, corrections? I'll entertain a motion and a second to accept the December 5th village board meeting minutes.
Second.
Trustee Belkane,
Aye.
trustee Byers,
Aye.
Mayor Cahill,
Aye.
motion passes.
All right, next we have the village board meeting minutes for December 8th. Questions? All right, I'll entertain a motion and a second to accept the village board meeting minutes as prepared by our village clerk for December 8th, 2016.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Trustee Byers,
Aye.
trustee Belkane, Mayor Cahill,
Aye.
motion passes.
All right, next we have the claims and warrants. Trustee Byers reviewed the bills along with trustee Belkane. I don't think I had any questions. You guys have any questions?
No. Did not?
Just want to make sure I didn't have any notes. Yes, I did have one. I did have one here for Kelly White Donofrio. It is on page 5, and it is for November service for Con versus Village of Webster. And my question is, the bill is for $23.50, and I just wanted to wonder if that bill is correct.
It's definitely
Please.
correct.
$23.50? Okay. All right.
Not much went on last month with respect to that lawsuit, but if you're a defendant, it's always a good thing.
Yes, you're right.
2350 is good.
Well, that's your new hourly rate, by the way. I'll entertain a motion in a second, too. All right, I didn't have any other questions, so I'll entertain a motion in a second to approve the claims and warrants.
Make that motion.
Second.
Trustee Belkane,
Aye.
trustee Byers,
Aye.
Mayor Cahill,
Aye.
motion passes.
Next, we have the authorization for the renewal of the certificate of wastewater treatment plant operators, and that would be for John Carnavelli, Kevin Florek, and Bob Breslenberger.
Regelsberger.
Regelsberger?
Yes.
Boy. Well, that was a good one. So my question on this was, and I don't know if anyone here can answer this, possibly you can, Will, is just this a renewal of certificates, or do they have to take some sort of course? Or is it just an annual money grab by the state for the licenses? Did I say money grab by the state? I didn't say
You did.
that on camera, did I?
I think it's similar to my certification. You have to have so many CEUs per year
Right?
and then recertify. So it's just their certificate, their grade 2D or whatever it is to operate at the plant. This is just standard operating procedure.
Right, but they don't have to do anything for that certificate, that's my question.
Well,
Because this,
Okay,
the
yes.
way I'm reading this, it says authorization for renewal of certificate of wastewater treatment plant operators. It doesn't say they have to take a course for this $160.
They already did,
They did.
yes.
yes.
So now we're just paying for their
This,
certificate.
as you said, Mayor, is the money grab by the state of New York.
The
All right.
renewal of their
Thank
license is necessary to renew only after they've taken their specific courses to
Gotcha.
do that.
Thank you, that's the clarification I was looking for. And Don, thank you for weighing in on that. All right, so I'll entertain a motion in a second to pay the $160 for each of these wastewater treatment plant operators.
I'll second it.
Trustee Belkane? Trustee Byers?
Aye.
Mayor Cahill?
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, next we have authorization for Jake Swingley, Will Barham, John Carnavelli, you will notice I pronounced those last names properly, to attend the Floboa Finger Lakes Building Officials Association 2017 Educational Conference, and that will be taking place on March 13th through the 16th at a cost not to exceed $390 each.
I have a question, Will.
Yes, sir.
I do believe last year we talked about John, and in terms of his certification and so on, we came up with, or asked for a outline of preparation and so on for him. How has that gone? I have
Excellent.
heard nothing about it. and-
No, it's been going through, I've been checking off through the list and everything. He still needs more time, obviously, because we haven't been that busy, but we're busy now with the North Avenue project, which gives ample opportunity and experience for all levels of inspection, which is what I really need him for. And that'll be important with vacations and everything going, because Jake's going to be on vacation. I only have a couple of days off here and there, but, so that's been going very well.
Okay.
Was he involved with the inspections of the Solari Court area?
Yes.
Those 38 townhouses?
Yep.
He was involved in that, right?
Yes, he was.
Okay. So I know you've been actively trying to get him involved as much as possible, so.
And this is another example, just like the wastewater treatment plant.
Right.
We have our certification, we have to have so many hours. This is the same type of situation where I have to have 24 hours a year. Some of them only need 30 every 3 years, something like that, so.
Thank you for that. Sarah, good question, great question, Gerald. All right, if there's no further questions, I'll entertain a motion in a second to authorize the $390 per person.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Trustee Byers?
Aye.
Trustee Belkane? Mayor Cahill?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Don, do you have anything this evening?
No, I do not, other than wishing all of you a Merry Christmas and happy whatever you may celebrate.
And Don, same to you and your wife, and on behalf of the entire board, thank you for all your diligence this past year. You go above and beyond.
It's been my pleasure.
Yes, and you can charge Mr. Elder later for all the FOIL requests that you review. All right, we have the financial statements for November 2016 are next. I did take an opportunity to, review these, and does anybody have any questions? I know under the sewer, if you compare revenue to expenditures, year-to-date, we're showing a plus of $50,786 according to my calculations. So we're definitely in the black, which is good. As far as the general budget goes, at this time, year-to-date, we're in the black, positive, $131,677 year-to-date. So the one question I did have, I don't know, was related to...
Which financials are you looking at?
I'm looking at the last page.
For November?
Yeah, I think it's, no, it's, is it year-to-date? Numbers are, yeah, year-to-date. Yeah. I did have a question on the revenue part, though, under,
For whom?
on page 1,
For
under
which?
property taxes. We're showing an unrealized revenue of $15,851. That will be reimbursed by the county, yes?
Correct.
Okay, and then they seek they go after the money, correct?
It goes on the person's county
Right.
taxes.
Okay.
3% is not bad,
No. not
unrealized
bad at all.
income.
Of course, we have some budget transfers, or modifications, I should say.
Yes.
So we're moving $2,282.85 from the planters budget line to the computer hardware line. And does anyone want me to read what the budget line numbers are? Or you can see them right up there, okay? And the reason, I believe, is for the external drives that were purchased for backup. We spoke about this, I believe, at the last board meeting, or was it the workshop we talked about that? Do you recall? The external hard drives?
It was the last board meeting.
Okay. And we were able to do this as delineated here, because the planners were paid for by the bid, and therefore the funds can be taken. And then we also have another transfer from 0106, 6140, 2002 planners to the other planner line, which is 402. And those were the plans purchased to fill the planners, and the planners, again, were paid for by the bid, and the funds were available to do that. Anyone have any questions for Christina regarding that? All right, well, I'll entertain a motion in a second to accept the budget modifications as delineated by our treasurer, Christina Mizek.
No second.
Trustee Belkane?
Aye.
Trustee Byers?
Aye.
Mayor Cahill?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Well,
Yes, sir.
how you doing?
You have the report in front of you. I have nothing really big to report on except some positive notes.
We
Rubino's,
can always use positive notes, but
Yeah,
it's law
I know.
enforcement.
that's all I want to do today. It's Christmas. Rubino's is open for business.
Yep.
They moved to a new location, and Lord willing, will be doing well there.
Yep,
He's not going to have the bar, though, this time, so
that's fine.
that's fine by me.
We have enough of those.
I know. North Ponds is alive and well. The apartment buildings are being built, the foundations. Majority of the foundations are in, all the permits have been issued. We received 2 of the 3 payments for the incentive zoning, and the last one comes at the last CFO.
Right.
So we're
So
caught
what was
up.
the total amount on those 2 checks? Do you know? off the top of
What
your
were they,
head?
58
Ballpark.
something?
One was 58,000, I don't know what the second.
Both of them were.
For 58,000, right?
Yeah.
I believe they were closer to 55, but in that ballpark, so about $110,000. 50, wasn't it
It was
55?
58,000.
I thought it was
First one was
58.
58,000, yeah.
They're, all payments are the same, they're all equal.
Right.
And they're all 58,000. This is 175,000 divided by 3.
My mind isn't a calculator, so I'm not
Mine
sure
is.
what that division is.
You're like data at work.
Yes, she is.
All right. So That's going well, and they're doing a great job so far. I have no complaints with their work. And they're very cooperative when anything needs to change or we have a difference of opinion when it comes to code, so it goes well. 65 Sherwood Avenue has been sold. That's the house that had caught fire about 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So I got a phone call from the new owner, I'm happy about that. Actually, 154 North Avenue has been sold, and they are currently gutting the place. Yes, question in the back.
Can I stick with Sherwood for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I know the neighbors are, one in particular is very concerned with that house.
Yes.
Is it possible for you to update that neighbor as to conversation?
Oh, yeah, Peter, yeah.
Yeah, would you mind doing that?
Yeah,
Thank you very much. I apologize for interrupting.
no, that's, okay.
Will you say that's a norm?
Okay.
I know I threw you out, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I can't write and talk at the same time. So 154
North
North Avenue is the White House that Mr. Fremusa used to own at the corner of Kittleberger and North Avenue.
Right.
That was a disaster.
Yes, it was.
And I
That's
talked
one
to
the tree fell on, right?
Yeah, that's the one the tree fell on, that we shook hands with RG&E to get them to remove it
That
for
was
us.
very, very nice.
Yes,
Great
it
job
was.
with you and Jake and RG.
The new owner, who I know, I remember because when I did some work in the town, I met him, and he does good work, so I'm very happy that he has it, he cares. He said it was a disaster inside,
Yeah.
and it was probably a drug house. So with some of the things he found, well, he's gutting it completely, coming up with a permit, doing some changes there. May have to come to planning board, because currently it is listed as a single-family house, and he wants to have a mixed use of residence and business at that, which he can't because it's in neighborhood business district, but he needs planning board permission
What
to
is,
do that.
what's he thinking about?
Oh, a couple of things. One of them would be like a destination type business. It could be an attorney's office, doctor's office, if it is doctor's office, I don't know. Real estate or something along those lines, a professional office.
Yeah.
Then he talked about maybe a little restaurant down below with residents above, so I don't know if that would work or not, because he would have to, they would have to have parking, obviously, for that, so
Exhaust fans.
that would be rough.
Sprinkler system.
Maybe not.
Well, that's very positive
Yeah, it is.
development for that corner, because it's been an eyesore for years.
It's been a bane in my side, absolutely.
So it's nice to know that someone with a good reputation for rehabbing houses has purchased that property and do a good job, and from what you're indicating has done, is well on his way to doing this.
Oh, yeah. I was so happy when I saw the dumpster there.
That's great news.
The other thing, just to keep for a heads up, the DEC, many of you may or may not know, but I do all the stormwater pollution
Yes.
prevention. And it's more than just looking at ponds and dirt and silt fence and things like that. We have to have our own stormwater management plan for the village, because we are called an MS4, which is a municipal separate sewer storm system, okay? So in order for us to have a permit from the state, we have to implement this stormwater pollution prevention plan, or our stormwater management plan, which is it's a filing cabinet I have in my office. And so what we have is our system. We have 17 outfalls, which is where the water exits into the open. Okay, so we have to test those every year. We have to clean out catch basins. We have to replace and repair catch basins. We have to keep track of everything we do, all things stormwater. Well, the state decided they would throw a monkey wrench in the works and add a lot more to our plate. A lot of it has to do with implementing policies, which take time to do. So more reporting more often. I don't want to go into too much detail. I have like a whole list of things here. I was at the town today talking to Jeff Benway, who's the Commissioner of Public Works, and we were going over this because we're part of what's called the Stormwater Coalition. That bill we pay every year for them to help us tremendously with all of this, and I'm sure that they'll also help us with this part as well. But what this means, from my perspective, is either somehow I will either have to share the load with somebody else, which I don't know who that somebody else would be, because Jake has his plate full as well, or I might have to put my hours back to 40 hours a week in order to actually keep up with all of this.
All right,
Or
well,
a
we'll
request.
certainly have a discussion about
Yeah.
that, but obviously we'll need the details.
Oh, yeah. So that'll be coming soon.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I'm done.
Any question? Tom, you go first.
The one on Main Street, a problem child on Main Street, what's the status of that?
I have nothing to report on that. Just the clock is ticking on that for us.
So what's the next day coming up? Where are we going? You said the clock's ticking.
What did I say? Is it January or February somewhere? That's when the deadline is for demolition.
Has the new bank been notified?
Everybody's gotten their letters.
Any response?
Nope. And I gave it a courtesy letter to the attorneys of the bank. Fine print and such.
Okay. 109 Iroquois, 2 vehicles of disrepair in the driveway.
Yep.
And you say you called the owner, explained to her the nature of the letter, and gave her a short extension. When is her extension?
It's passed. It is now passed.
So where are we?
So now they get a notice of violation, which gives them a week or two to comply. If they don't, then we go to court.
Have you sent a notice of violation to
I
them
have
yet?
not.
When do you think you're going to do that?
When I get back from vacation.
I just suspended your vacation. All
I
right.
drove through,
After Christmas.
I drove through yesterday and noticed that it's still there.
And the 9 snowmobiles at 50 Mohawk will be addressed on next month's
Yep.
report, right?
Yep.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions for Will? All right, great work, Will. Thank you very much. All right, next we have the Department of Public Works. Will, that's you.
Sure.
What do you have for us?
I'm trying to think what did Jake, the only 2 things that Jake wanted me to really emphasize, which the difficulty with our broadcasting system now is that we're not on TV anymore. So whoever gets this would be great. And that is to make sure that during snow emergencies, one, you don't park in the street in the hours that we have.
Right.
On the, between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. 2, when plowing, it's a state law that you're not allowed to plow across the street, and that
Right.
causes problems, obviously. And third, when plowing, please be considerate of the sidewalk plows, because now we're running into problems. For instance, we received a complaint from Carriage Path Court that we didn't plow all the way down to the last townhouse within the village. Well, we couldn't, because the company that they hired to plow plowed in all the sidewalks. And it was that heavy, wet, icy snow, and we ended up breaking our snow blower, shear pin or something, and we had to bring it in to repair it because of that. So we did contact them.
Did
and
you
talk
try to
them.
take the trackless down there?
Yeah.
And trackless wouldn't go through that? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we did contact them and let them know why
Right.
we were having a problem. So hopefully now that'll be rectified in the future. But I think that was all.
Next, I was gonna ask when we should be getting a new dump truck in the next couple of weeks.
We're crossing our fingers.
That's way overdue. But, you know, to Jake's credit, for every day it's late, we
And
take money off
Well,
the,
that's- and that's,
Okay.
again, state bid, and you're given a promise by an individual or a company, and, oh yeah, and that's what we go by, their promise. And now we're into the plowing season, and it's just making.
well, the problem was that the pump wouldn't
Yes.
work. You couldn't use the salter and the plow at the same time.
Correct.
because there wasn't enough volume in the reservoir. So that was kind of a design problem, so they had to go retrofit it, so that's where that came into play,
Yeah.
which is the majority of the reason for the delay.
Yeah.
So, all right. And you don't have any digester updates?
No, but things are getting much better. They're taking probiotics.
That's very good. I'm glad to hear that. Flushing is very necessary, especially for gentlemen of your age.
Is the town newsletter for the winter, is that already gone out?
Say it again?
Town newsletter. We used to have the back page,
Oh,
put things
yeah.
on the back page, and this would be an ideal thing for the snow, et cetera. Obviously, it's not there.
Yeah.
Actually,
How's it
I
going
can
out?
add that to my column
Oh, yeah, sure.
submission next week. Anybody have anything else this evening? In that case, wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a happy and safe New Year. And thank you for all your work this year. And I will entertain a motion and a second to close the meeting.
And I would add to that, Merry Christmas to everyone in the village as well. I wish you all a very blessed New Year. And I will make the motion to adjourn.
Ditto, and I'll second it.
Trustee Byers,
So articulate.
trustee Belkane,
What am I gonna say?
He's quick.
Aye.
Good.
Mayor Cahill.
Jake's quick.
Yes. Aye.
Could I request something? The
Absolutely.
workshop?
Sure.
You had emailed us about you would like to have a workshop on Brittany Woods. Would be a good idea to have zoning, planning, Brittany Woods, whoever.
Yeah, they're gonna come in January now. It got rescheduled.
Okay, so they're gonna come in the 12th?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to have a workshop before that?
We do have a workshop on the 3rd, which
Right.
there's nothing scheduled.
Let's put that on there then, yeah.
except-
I'd love to have you
Mark
guys-
Nicholson might be able to make it.
If he
and,
can, that'd be.
I'd like
that'd be
some people from zoning there.
great. Right.
So. And Brittany Woods doesn't necessarily have to show up, it's still a public meeting, but
I'll call
courtzy
Mark tomorrow and ask him
Yeah.
if he'd like to come in
Courtesy
advance of
that,
the board meeting.
dictate that you
To
told
ask
them.
like an informal discussion
Yeah.
about what he's doing, proposing to do over there.
As long as we,
You guys have a problem with that?
Don, as long as we don't have a full planning board or a zoning board here, it shouldn't be an issue, right? You can even have
Well, it's a public meeting,
It's a public meeting.
so it's gotta be advertised, but
Right.
as long as you don't, I assume nobody's taking any votes on anything.
No, I just want to make sure everybody's up to speed with planned unit development versus the R2.
Well, I think it's not gonna be R296, it's gonna be residential.
Or,
multiple.
Residential multiple, RM.
Right.
And just want to make sure everybody's up to speed on
Yeah,
the
you
planned
give
unit
us a
development.
history of, you know, of that property and the whole nine. I think it'd be a fantastic
Right.
idea to have an informal meeting
Okay.
discussion.
All right.
That'd be great. I'll call Mark tomorrow.
All right.
technically, you're supposed to notify the media if the planning board and zoning board are showing up.
We can do that tomorrow. Joseph, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
I have to send
Really?
it anyway.
It may not be,
It
it may
doesn't
just,
matter.
as long as there's
I
a
think-
member.
Well,
If you've got at least a quorum there, and it's,
Yeah. That's what I was concerned about, is the quorum.
well, no, you could,
There's no
it's
problem.
no big deal. So
Yeah.
somebody makes a phone call to the Webster Herald and says,
Yeah.
the planning board and zoning board has been
And then you can
invited.
put it on the website tomorrow, too, Joseph, please? Or we can
well,
just-
I'm gonna send
Yeah.
my normal
All right.
agenda.
Right, and you're gonna add to that, the planning board and the zoning board will be, are scheduled to attend.
Scheduled for discussion.
Right. Okay, I'll let
Yeah.
Mark know and.
Because technically then it'd be like a joint meeting.
Yeah, basically it
Because I
is. It would be a
assume,
joint
I assume
workshop.
if the planning or zoning board members want to say something,
Sure.
they can. Because normally at workshops, you
Right.
don't
Would you,
take public input.
is there anything else you'd like to add to the agenda while we're on the topic?
I'd rather wait till like an hour before the meeting and then start to add about 6 things, so I know how much you appreciate that.
Yeah.
So, public.
I don't have anything else at this time, Josette.
Okay.
To answer
The
your
only
question.
other thing would be, I'm gonna put on the CSEA possibly.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Well, okay. Well, John's not here, then that wouldn't happen anyway.
Well, Don's coming to that workshop also.
Are you?
Yeah.
All right, I better write this down.
All right.
January what?
Third,
January 3rd.
Not on vacation, right?
it's the Tuesday.
Trying to get the Christmas tree, no, that didn't work out. Yeah, I didn't call you. I guess I'll go with. Good thing your name. I guess I'll go with the little ones. I know.
All right, we're now to the village office.
Yeah.